Joining us here now on the Rich Eisen Show, getting ready to be part of the mega-cast portion of Monday Night Football's finale to Super Wildcard Weekend. You got the game on ESPN and ABC, you got the Manning cast, and you got the mega-cast with the crew of NFL Live, and that includes Dan Orlovsky back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Dan?
I'm fantastic, bud. Good to link up with you and as these playoffs start and talk a little football.
Yes, absolutely. There is so much to discuss. The most impressive performance of the weekend to date is fill in that blank, sir.
Oh, yeah, Josh Allen in his performance, against New England Patriot defense that was, one of the top two in all of football this season. When Josh is used that way, Rich, when I say used that way, the way Brian Dable has really started to deploy him this last 5-week stretch, where when he's used that way, he's almost indefensible. I said this, he's like Shohei Ohtani, the basically do-it-all player for the Angels, because, if you want Josh to play against zone defense where they're going to give you completions, he'll take them. And then you need a quarterback with a big, powerful arm to drive the football downfield and take shots. He can do it. You need a quarterback that has got strong enough arm and good enough velocity to throw these 18 to 25-yard deep crossing routes versus man coverage. He can do it. You want a quarterback that, you want to utilize in your designed run game. It could be effective. He can do it. You want a quarterback to get himself out of trouble when the protection's not great. He can do that. He's a three-tool quarterback. He can beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs, and beat you with his mind. And when they use him like that and he's rolling like that, man, he's just an indefensible player.
Well, I mean, and the fact that you didn't stutter when you said Josh Allen as the most impressive performance, and it just shows you just how impressive it was when Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns in 10.5 minutes against the Steelers defense. On Sunday night.
Not too shabby. We don't even talk about it anymore when Patrick does that. I think the quality of defense is probably the big difference for me. I mean, Pittsburgh's defense is fallen off so much. Patrick was really good. Patrick's been really good for about the last 6 weeks. It's so nice to see him clean up some of the stuff that was hampering him really at the start of the season. But the way Josh just absolutely dominated that game was so eye-opening.
Dan Orlovsky here on the Rich Eisen Show. The Cowboys loss, you lay that at whose feet, if there's a foot to lay it on?
Yeah, I think it's 100% on Mike McCarthy and 100% on Dak Prescott. No, honestly. Right? I think it's like a marriage. We ain't giving 50-50. It's 100-100. All right, so listen, my truthful answer, like my not kind of joking answer, this falls on $400 million of offense. You're a $140 million quarterback. Rich, there's 3 guys at that position in the NFL that make $40 million a year. We just talked about 2 of them, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. Josh Allen and Patrick went for over 400 yards. Dak didn't play good. He didn't play well enough. And in those moments, that's what you're paid for, is to outperform when no one else on your offense shows up. Your $90 million back didn't show up. Again, your $100 million receiver and Amari Cooper didn't show up again. Candidly, Tyron Smith got beat up yesterday. He got handled by the 49ers defensive front. You don't get into the end game situation and how that game ended by playing well on offense. No one played good offensively. But the way the game went, Rich, and the fake punt and the lack of communication and the confusion after the fake punt, that delay a game, they don't get a first down after that because of that 5-yard penalty.
Right.
And obviously the way the end of the game is handled and the lack of preparation and the lack of a plan, that's got to fall at the feet of Mike McCarthy. And listen, the truth of Mike McCarthy is this. In 2 years as the Dallas Cowboys head coach, he's 18-15. So Dak Prescott as his starting quarterback, outside of the NFC East, they're 6-9 together. Outside of the worst division in football, they're 6-9 together. And that's not that for an owner who came out last week and said Super Bowl or bust, man, I just don't see how that's good enough.
Well, and then in terms of the last play, Dan Orlovsky here on the Rich Eisen Show, the conversation from both McCarthy and Dak is that we drilled it, we've practiced it, we've done this, we've done that. In practicing this, does somebody play the role of the official, the umpire? because, so much is made of the umpire bumped Dak, and we had Mike Pereira on in hour number 1 of this show, Dan, and he said that the umpire should not have re-spotted the football. Just touch the ball and get the hell out of the way. But put it all together, though, if you find the official, like Larry Fitzgerald, for instance, always did, and Chase Claypool famously did not earlier this year, then maybe that doesn't happen. Is there a role of an official in drilling this to make sure that the quarterback doesn't hand the ball to the center to self-spot? Oh,
okay. So, yeah, this is a great question. There's a lot to it. So, first of all, everyone plays their part in the end game of situation, 100%. The official's got to be, in the right place, knowing where the football is, knowing what his role is. But I'm going to just walk you through, Rich, kind of how this gets taught in the locker room.
Please.
So you referenced Larry Fitzgerald. If you go back and watch some of the moments with Larry takes the ball from the edge of the field, right outside the numbers, receiver-wise, sprints in, and multiple times actually hands the ball to the center. The center then turns and hands it to the official. That tells me everybody on the offense is aware, certainly the person snapping the football, that the official has to touch the ball. All right, so in that situation, 14 seconds is what's on the clock. I've always learned that 16 seconds was like, okay, that's our cutoff. 14 seconds is the near-death experience. That's the max that we can go, okay?
Right.
So once you make that decision, number one, ball carrier, whoever you are, receiver, tight end, tailback, quarterback, we're just trying to get some yards, not all the yards. You got to do a good job of declaring yourself down, because you trying to get 2 or 3 extra yards is worth an extra second or two. So number one, Dak Prescott went too far. Number two, your job is to get up and hand the ball to the official. Don't toss it to him. These guys are 60 years old. I'm not knocking someone who's 60, but in the heat of the moment, everyone's moving around. You don't want to trust the guy to catch the ball from you. You hand the football to him, okay? Number three, everyone then needs to be with urgency to get into a legal formation. If you go watch like Noah Brown or Dalton Schultz, they're like confused in that moment. 5 seconds on the clock. Hey, what are we doing? So it looks lack of preparation. And then the last point, and this is one of the most crucial for me, Rich. So again, when you're taught this situation, that's if things go ideally, right? Hey, if everything goes perfectly. You're always taught as a quarterback, what happens if it doesn't go the way we hope? Let's say there's a stumble or the referee does hold the football. 3 seconds is the cutoff, where if you realize the clock is on 3 seconds, you are now in 911 mode. You are screaming down the field or at the line of scrimmage, 911, 911. That is declaring to everybody, we are not spiking the football. We are in a Hail Mary situation. We're running down to the end zone. That was never part of what it looked to be the Cowboys' preparation. And so there's so many layers. When you would do this in practice, there should always be an official. We've always had officials to be a part of that. It's never been, a player. It's always been the officials. And it just looked like the Cowboys were unprepared and not able to execute what was necessary. Dan
Orlovsky here on the Rich Eisen Show. So then last one for you on this subject matter. And you've heard all the conversations since, by the way, I have been on the bystander status when Michael Irvin gets at it with somebody on the set, as happened to you today on First Take with Stephen A's return. Perfect timing, by the way, too.
No doubt.
What do you do if you're Jerry Jones? What do you do?
Yeah, I think it's hard to bring back Mike McCarthy. I really do. I thought Ed Werder made a great point on Get Up this morning when he was asked that question, and he said, I don't want to get into hypotheticals or whatnot. And then, Greeny pushed back on, well, Kellen Moore, and he said, well, I actually think Dan Quinn's probably the part of this conversation that is more likely, because he thinks it's more likely Dan Quinn is going to be a head coach again before Kellen Moore is for the first time. And are you willing to lose potentially Dan Quinn if you're Jerry Jones? I laid out, like, if we go back, think about this, Rich. Like, we can go back. Week 2 against the Chargers, when the clock runs out, Mike McCarthy said, well, we couldn't see the clock. Week 3 against the Eagles before halftime, the clock runs all the way out with like a minute 50 on the half. They never called timeouts. Week 6 against the Patriots, they called timeout and kick a field goal with 24 seconds left rather than letting the clock run all the way down. Week 15, he throws the ball to Dalton Schultz, and they don't take a shot at the end zone because he says that they're in the O zone. Week 17, last week 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals, he calls timeout and can't challenge the fumble. I think it's hard given what the record is, given what the performance is, given what the reality of this poor game and clock management, I think it's hard to bring back Mike McCarthy to this football team.
Dan Orlovsky here on the Rich Eisen Show. You're concerned about which quarterback moving forward more, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts. What do you got for me on that one?
Probably Jalen Hurts. I think that Jalen Hurts did so much good this year. I've been outspoken. I think Jalen Hurts has done enough to be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles next year. I still say two things for Jalen. And he's still such a very young player. But guys in the NFL, you can't wait till they're open. You got to see them open before they are. And he's not there yet. And the second thing is his arm strength is a thing. His arm's just not that powerful. And, you know, you got to figure out as an organization how comfortable you are with that reality. I think Mac did so many good things. Now, you could say the same thing with Mac. Average arm strength. But Mac has such other things in his game, how fast he plays, how quickly he gets the ball out, how much of an anticipation thrower he is, that kind of elite trait, or those elite traits will mask the average arm strength for him. So I'd say Jalen Hurts.
And then just again, because of what happened with the Cowboys, and then obviously Burrow's first performance and how the Raiders still almost won that game, and Mahomes and Big Ben's farewell and so on and so forth. You know, can you overlook Tom Brady? I mean, because, I mean, even with no Fournette and no Ronald Jones and no Godwin and no Antonio Brown, he still put up 30 on the Eagles yesterday. He's incredible. It's unbelievable. Dan?
Yeah, he's
really?
It boggles my mind, not only the performance, Rich, and I've always felt this way about him, how much every single play matters to him. I can't even conceptualize the level of expectation for excellence he has every single play. Every single play. You see him miss a throw, he gets frustrated with himself. You see a guy not do what he's expecting, he gets visibly upset. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. I'm Tom I'm so intrigued by the Bucs right now because of the injuries. But at the same time, that offensive line, if Tristan Wirfs is healthy, and he's got two gold jackets thrown to still, and he still has Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski, who I think Mike Evans is going to be a Hall of Famer. So I can't sit here and say I'm discounting Tampa Bay getting back strictly because of who the quarterback is and strictly because I think they're good enough on offense.
Well, I mean, look, we might find out, as I said at the top of the show, that the team that many in the NFC would be upset with the most are the Rams, because they had the Niners dead to rights and let them off the hook. And now the Cowboys are out, and we might find out that the Packers will feel the same way at this very point next weekend. Yes. You never know. Yes. And the Bucs are sitting there at home. They're going to get the winner of Monday Night Football, a West Coast team on a short week coming all the way across the country, and they're the 2 seed sitting back. They might not have to move all the way up to the Super Bowl. It's entirely possible that that's the case for Tampa right now. Dan.
100%. 100%. The way, you know, if you're Green Bay, you're sitting there going, seriously? Like, this was if I had to sit down and script out how to beat the Green Bay Packers or how to attack and beat, or what's the weakness of Green Bay, I would just copy and paste the San Francisco 49ers. And that's why Green Bay's got to be sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. You know, this is why we had this season, though, Rich, right? This is why we had this season where, you know, we live in the world where every week you get asked the question, well, who do you think's the best team in the NFC, or, you know, who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs? And you know, I think many of us try to be confident and right in our answer, and get to the point where it's like, I don't know. I feel like all the teams are, you know, and I think that's what's the beauty is where we sit with this final 8 right now is I don't know if anybody would be surprised if any of the 8 are in the Super Bowl.
Last one for you then. What happens tonight? What's your best guess as to what happens this evening in Los Angeles?
I think the Rams win because they're the better football team. I think that I have said this. This is the biggest game in the history of Matthew Stafford's career. And if he wins it, next week is the biggest game in the history of Matthew Stafford's career. This is a legacy-changing 3-week stretch for him. And if he plays 3 clean he'll be a Hall of Famer. And if he doesn't, the noise is going to be very loud on the outside. I think tonight, number one, I would put 2 tight ends on the field, and I would run the football in my outside zone game against Arizona. They've proven it all year that they cannot stop it. I would force the corner up to the boundary so that he can cover Odell Beckham one-on-one. I know Cooper Kupp's going to get his. And I think if you can protect the safeties, if you're the Rams, if you can protect your safeties that are unproven and kind of your backups, you should win this football game because you're the better team.
Dan, enjoy tonight, man. In the 7 years that I was at ESPN, if you had told any single human being walking around there that you would be, or ESPN would have a Monday night football playoff game, and then have the Mannings part of it, and then have the country watch it on a whole bunch of networks, including what you've got streaming on ESPN Plus tonight, nobody would have believed it, man. Nobody. So
cool.
It's the truth. Cool. What a big night. What a big night for the worldwide leader. Big night. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that, man.
No, it's the truth. Soak it in. And, you've got a great crew, and have fun. Just have a blast. It's going to be great.
Thanks, bud. You're the best, man. Thanks, Rick.
Right back at you. At Dan Orlovsky 7 on Twitter. I follow him. You should as well, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.